Greetings, my name is Kerry and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do a bit of a check-in on how my reading goals for the year are going. So I thought I'm just going to do a check-in of some of the goals that I set for myself at the beginning of the year and how I'm going on with them. I've got here my list of my 2019 reading plans. I will actually also link the video I made about my reading plans down in the description box, so you can check that out. If you weren't following me back in January when I was talking about that, you can go and have a look at that. But I'm going to go through what the goal was and how I'm getting on with it. So the first goal on my list was to have a 6-month book buying ban. That did not go well. If you've seen my my book hauls, yeah, it didn't happen. On my notes, actually, you can see here I've just written ha ha ha, because yeah, it was never going to work. I had my pre-orders, I had my publisher's subscriptions, I had my trip to Hale Mai, and then I just sort of also went to a few charity shops and bought books. So linked to that, my second goal was to get my TBR down. So this is my want to read shelf on Goodreads. It's all books on my owned TBR. They're all books that I own that I haven't read. At the start of the year there were 539 books on that list, and my goal for the end of the year was to get it down to 450 through a mixture of reading books and unhauling them. Yeah, it's currently at 546, so it's actually gone up by 7, which is not as bad as it could be considering the number of books I have actually bought, but it still is going in the wrong direction. So I have slightly revised that goal, and my goal now is just to get it below 500. So for the next 6 months I am going to try and really focus on reading books that I own rather than borrowing lots of books. Having said that, I just requested a ton of books from the library yesterday, so that could be interesting. Also, I am still trying to intentionally not buy too many books. So I have some pre-orders, I have some book subscriptions. Ninja Book Club has started back up again, so I will be buying some books through that. But outside of those things, I'm going to try not to buy books unless they'll help me carry on with series. That's a slightly later goal. Actually, it's not on here because I came up with that goal afterwards, which was trying to carry on with some series and complete some series that I'd already started. So I'm going to allow myself to buy books if they'll help me in that purpose of completing some of those series, or if they're ones that I've got on pre-order. But the deal with the pre-orders is that I have to try and read them within the year to justify buying them as pre-orders, and I'm having some success with that. Of the books I've pre-ordered, I've read some of them. I have done okay with reading books that I've bought this year as well, even though there's been a lot. I haven't actually got the stats with me because I forgot to look that up. So my goal now is to try and get my TBR below 500 by the end of the year, and we'll see how that goes. I have unhauled quite a few books, but it's sort of getting to the point where it's difficult to unhaul books because they are actually mainly ones that I do want to read now. So yeah, we'll have to see how it goes. My next goal was for my book death row of trying to read one book death row book per month, and then to regularly try the first chapter of the books on the list to try and clear some of those books from my TBR. I actually managed to try the first chapter of all the books that are on book death row, and I did actually manage to unhaul 8 of them last month. You might have seen my book death row update. I can link that down in the description box if you haven't seen that. As for actually reading the books, I've only managed to complete one of them and DNF one this year. So while I've unhauled 8, I've only actually completed one book, which I decided to keep. My goal is still to try and read one of them per month and to try the first chapters of others on the list to make a quick decision about them. But I've revised the system to try and guarantee that I'll read one book per month. So I go into this a bit more detail in the book death row video, but basically I'm using a random number generator to pick one book per month that I have to try and read within that month, and if I don't manage to read that in the month, it goes. So I'm trying to be a lot stricter with myself on that, and we'll see how I get on with that. My next goal was to try and clear some of the oldest books on my TBR. So at the start of the year, I think there were 34 on that list, and I was aiming to read one book per month. I have managed to read 3, which is not quite as many as I'd hoped, but I also have unhauled 5. One of them I DNF'd. 4 of them were from the same series, and I tried the first chapter of the first one in the series and realised I was just never going to read that series, so I got rid of all of them. They were ones that were given to me, so it wasn't like I'd spent loads of money on them. And then of the 3 that I've read, I think I have unhauled 2 of them as well. My goal for that is still to try and read 1 per month, and actually quite a lot of those books on that list are now on my Book Death Row shelf to try and help me get to them more quickly. So that is still my goal, is try and read 1 per month, and we'll see how I go with that. My Read Around the World challenge, which is to try and read a book written by an author from every country in the world. My goal was to read 1 per month. I've actually only managed to read 3 so far this year. I'm just trying to fit them in with all the other challenges I'm doing. It's actually more difficult. I've just set myself too many goals, really. So I'm still aiming for 1 per month on that, but it's kind of a more loose goal. And so actually, as we get towards the end of the year, I might try and read a couple per month just to try and hit some. A couple of the indie publishers that I subscribe to specialise in translator fiction from other countries. So if I actually just try and hit some of those books that I'm receiving this year, like, that will help me get through some more countries. So that is the plan for those, that actually I just need to get to those. And some of those are quite short, so I should be able to do it, really. I just need to give myself a bit of a kick up the backside with that, really. And then my most successful goal so far actually is for the indie challenge hosted by my lovely friends at Ninja Book Box, and I'll link down to their channel below. They created this lovely bingo square of different challenges, and basically the goal is just to try and read more independently published books. So my goal for that was to hit every square on the board at least once, or to try and hit 1 book per square, if that makes sense. So I've read 12 books towards this challenge. That's 12 books by indie publishers, which is that's an average of 2 per month, which I'm pretty happy with. And I've actually completed 20 squares. I've hit 20 squares off the list, so I've got a few bingos so far. So I've got 5 squares that I haven't hit yet, which I do need to get onto that, but some of these I've hit multiple times, so I'm hoping that will sort of average out to be at least 1 book per square, and 1 square is a free square, so that's going to be sort of my last one. Yeah, I'm on course to hit actually 25 indie books in the year, which I'm pretty happy with. The final goal that I talked about in that video was a goal for this channel of how big I wanted to grow, essentially, and I was hoping to get to 300 subscribers by my anniversary. So at time of filming, my booktube anniversary was a week ago, and I'm currently at 181 subscribers, so I haven't quite got to my goal for 300, but that's okay. I've kind of come to terms with the fact that this channel is only going to grow quite slowly as I sort of find my audience. So thank you to everyone that has subscribed. I really do appreciate it. And so now I'm sort of aiming for maybe getting to 300 by the end of this year, which would be really lovely. So if you haven't subscribed already, please do come join in the fun. I talk about quite a diverse range of books. I read quite widely, so there's some YA, there's some adult fiction, there's some non-fiction, some poetry, occasionally even some plays and short story collections. I read a variety of genres as well, so science fiction, fantasy, historical fiction. I read biographies. I read a really wide range of stuff. So if you're looking for slightly more diverse bookish content, then maybe come and give me a try. So please think about subscribing if you haven't already. It's a real encouragement to know that people want to hear what I have to say. Hello, it's Editing Kerry, because I just realised that this is the video I need to announce the winner of my giveaway. Thank you to everyone who entered. I used a random number generator to pick a winner from the comments, and the winner came up as Megan, so congratulations. You can either contact me on Twitter, or I will put my email address in the description box, and you can send me an email to let me know your address, and I will get that book sent to you as soon as possible, and I'll let you know when it's on the way. Yeah, so thank you to everyone who entered. I really appreciate all your support for my channel, and back to me. So I think that's actually it for today. I'd love to hear about what some of your reading goals for this year were, and how far you've got with them. Are you doing better than me? Because I'm not doing great on mine, I must admit. Yeah, so have a chat to me down in the comments, or connect with me on my social media as well. The information is always listed in the description box below. All that's left to say is thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye!